Hello everyone, my name is Gina, and I would like to officially welcome you to Seasoned Beauties. If this is your first time visiting with us on today, thank you so much for choosing to stop by. Now, if you are returning, thank you so much for enjoying our content enough to visit again. Now, either way, if you are currently not subscribed to Seasoned Beauties, I want to encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Become a part of the Seasoned Beauties family. We'd be more than happy to have you. And there's more than enough room on this family tree just for you. Now, while you're in that general vicinity, go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you will be the first to know each and every time a new video is uploaded. Okay? Now, I would like to welcome you to the very first Seasons Happen. Now, today is kind of a heavy topic, and I understand it's kind of tough to start off this way. However, this is like really on my mind, and there have been some things in the news lately which lets me know this is a good place to start. Okay, now this episode, as you see from the title, I am a mom of a domestic violence victor. She is not a victim. She is a victor because she has overcome this thing. She is yet walking around. She is breathing. She is not physically damaged. However, there is some emotional backlash that's there. But she is a victor. Of that, I am extremely happy. But there are some things that I want to share with you. I'm not going to tell her story. I'm going to tell my story. And we had a little bit of this conversation, but I will have her watch this before I do upload it. But the thing was, there was no way I was going to belittle the situation that she was going through to make it about me. No, not at all. But the thing is, there are some things that we don't realize affects other people with the things that we go through. Now, our children were raised to be very confident in themselves. They were taught to not worry about other people's opinions of them. It was, you be a trendsetter. You be the person who creates. You let others follow you, not you follow them. So this is the way in which we raised our children. Now, I have to tell you, this child, who is now an adult, was my child who, if I said the sky was blue, she said it was red. So whatever it was, there was kind of a contradiction going on right there. That's cool. Whatever, you have your own personality. As long as you didn't become disrespectful with it, we can handle that. Okay, you become disrespectful with it, that's a whole nother ball game. So I'm giving you background for a reason. Now, in addition to that, she also became a follower for some reason, which I didn't understand. You know, she was raised to be a leader. A leader. You get people to like what you present, so they want to be around you, not you gravitate to the other. Now, she was one of those kind of people that she just wanted to help other people. She saw you having a hard time. She wanted to help you get out of that hard time. So later on, as she became an adult, okay, her and her brother like this. They were thick. You saw one, you saw the other. You talked to one, you talked to the other. That's the way that they were. Well, when you start to see things differently in your family, you need to start asking some questions, some hard questions, okay? I'm telling you what I went through. I don't want you to have to go through this, but I just did not understand why things were starting to change, so I started to ask hard questions, okay? So, of course, at that time, her answer to me was, everything's fine. I'm just having, some issues in my marriage. I said, okay. I'm not getting involved. I'm not involving myself, I guess is the better way to put it. If there's something that you want to talk about, then by all means, you come on. We have a conversation. I'm here. So after all of this transpired and we were having a conversation about what she had gone through, she said, I just really can't believe I allowed myself to be in that situation. So I asked her, what happened the first time he hit you? The first time this happened, I was in such a state of shock. We never even talked about it. Never even talked about it. She said he had the look on his face like he knew he was going to die. Because she was not raised that way. And he also knew her dad and her brother. And they do not play that. They do not play that at all. They will come for you. So she said she knew the best thing to do was to not say anything. And I told her that was the worst thing you could have done, was to not say anything. However, she said, it happened again. And she said, okay, no, we're not going to do this. We are not going to do this. She said he hit her. She hit him back. She said, no, I was not raised this way. You are not going to hit me and think you're going to get away with it. Well, this daughter of mine is 4 feet 11. She weighs about 125 pounds. He was 5 feet 9 and weighed 300 pounds. So she said it was very easy for him to, pick her up, toss her across the room, or whatever the case may have been. So my thing is this. If you do not stop it right then, it's bound to repeat. Why? Because you're teaching them how to treat you. You're teaching them how to treat you. And he immediately saw that you were trying to save your relationship. You were trying to not be embarrassed because you didn't want to share your story with your family. So, I told you earlier, things began to change in my house. And the reason that they changed in my house is because my son saw him hit his sister, and he went after him. But the problem was, my daughter turned on her brother. She said, I was trying to save my marriage. It wasn't about, going against my brother. But the thing is, this is your brother. He lived in the same house you lived in, and he was taught you are supposed to protect your sister. Whether he's the youngest, he certainly is the youngest, but he is not by any means her little brother. Not at all. He is a very large, licensed, gun-carrying, one of those kind of people. Her dad is former military. He was honorably discharged from the military in the fields where this is what they did. Combat. He did not allow these kinds of things to go on. So she certainly wasn't going to tell him. Now, for me, I believed that it was done this way because she didn't want to see her dad go to jail. Because that's what would have happened if he went after this guy who went for his daughter. So, for me, I spent so many nights trying to understand. My husband said to me, "You will not cry another tear. That's not going to happen. We're not doing that again." He said, "We know that something is wrong, but until she gets to the point where she is going to come to us, there is nothing we can do, because we tried to intervene before, and with us trying to intervene, it pushed her closer to him." Now, my thing was, okay, she's an adult, this is her decision, but what about the children that are involved? So as a parent, it was really tough. Well, come to find out, because we had the kind of relationship where whatever I said, she wanted it to be the opposite. That was not the case with her and her dad. Not at all. Her and her dad, she could come to him with anything. And she did. Except this. And we just still could not understand why. Now, with the size difference and the fact that there were a lot of other times that were good, she would share things with him regarding the relationship from her point of view between her and myself. So he began to use those things against her. He began to tell her, well, it doesn't matter what you do. Nobody's going to believe you anyway. You don't have any scratches. You've never ended up in the hospital. So she began to believe she was all alone. And if you start to see a difference in your children, ask the questions. If you see a relationship change between your children, ask the questions. I'm just telling you, ask the questions. I tried to figure out what I could have done differently. I prayed about my child's safety. And you know, God answers prayer. He answers prayer. And I bring this up to her even to this day. I said, you know, there was a time when the two of them got married, which we were not privy to. I was not invited to that wedding. How about that? Found out through the grapevine. And a letter came to my house. And it was addressed to her. But it was from the magistrate. I'm like, okay, something's going on with my child. What's going on? I called her. I said, you have some mail here. You need to come by and get it. She says, Mom, open it. I said, okay. So I opened it. And this letter from the magistrate court told her that if she did not come down and sign her marriage license within 10 days from the date of that letter, her marriage was null and void. You know, the mom in me wanted to not tell her what that letter said. I wanted it to be 10 days later. She could say, guess what? You're not married to him. You don't have to go back there. You don't have to stay there. None of those things. Well, I told her what it said. She said, wow, Mom, what should I do? I said, are you really asking that question? You ask for help. you don't like things that are going on, you have an out. Come on. To me, it was a no-brainer. To her, it was torture. To her, it was torture. There are so many signs. When we look back, you say, okay, hindsight is 2020. But I'm telling you right now, check the signs. The statistics are so bad. There is domestic violence that is crazy. Now, let me just put it out there. This is not just men towards women, but I do know that it's women towards men as well. Because there is no way men are going to get up there and tell somebody that some little short person, came for them, or, they're not going to say that to their friends. They don't want to look like anything less than a man, when in essence, it makes you look like more of a man. Why? Because you're trying to get out of something before you hurt that person. Step off. Keep going. I give you big props when that is what you do. Why? To keep from losing it and really coming for that person. Do what you have to do to protect yourself. Now, I went through many sleepless nights. I went through many days of having to see her feeling some kind of way. Because regardless of the relationship that she portrayed to them, she knew, if you can't call nobody else, you call your mother. Your mother will come. I went and got her and the children many times. And he came with that sob story. Oh, I'll never do it again. Blah, blah, blah. And I would come home and find them gone. Her not answering my call because she went back. You're talking about something heart-wrenching? I didn't understand. Still, even to this day, I don't understand. However, she is free. She is alive. She is alive. She has a lot of hurt down on the inside, but she did not have to go through the days of being in the hospital, because he beat her so bad, she, ended up there, But I'm telling you this because I need you to know that the decisions that you make, they do affect more than just you. You may sit there and say, oh, it's just me that's enduring this beating. I can handle it. Why? You don't have to. But when there are children involved and they see these things, trust me. Trust me when I tell you, they are scarred. Those children are scarred. I have one of my grandchildren who didn't even know how to smile. She didn't even know how to smile. When you look at her face, we went back and we looked at pictures a couple days ago. And it was like it was torture for this child to smile. But I'm so glad my baby can smile. I'm holding out for my grandson, because that's all he saw for his entire little life until they moved out of there. And you say he'll either be just like that, worse, or he'll try to get as far away from it as possible. My prayer is that he goes in the opposite direction. You remember those days, when they would say to me, I don't like pizza. I'm like, What child doesn't like pizza? He would say things like, I saw my daddy take that pizza and put it in the oven. I thought he was heating it for us. And when it was hot enough where you pull the cheese and you could see the cheese melt, he would burn my mommy's face with that. As a mom, as a grandmother, how do you handle stuff like that? I'm telling you, please understand. You may think your child is too small to remember. You may think that they're asleep. No, these kids, even now. She said, Grand, I would go and grab the phone and try to call you on the phone, but be quiet. So they didn't know I could hear them. But I was always so scared that I would be next if he came in there and found out that I was trying to call and get help. It affects more than just you. I promise you, it does. And those physical scars may heal. My daughter was very fortunate that was not the case for her. But those emotional scars, you need to get some help. You deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. I'm going to make sure I leave a link across the bottom of the screen and down in the comment section if you need help. If you don't want to tell your family, I will leave a link, a phone number to where you can go. You can get some help. But I'm telling you, when they come to help you, do not change your mind. You got to go. You gotta go. Because you don't want it to turn around and be worse. They may sit there and threaten you, oh, I will get you. No. You do what you have to do to get you and yours out of there. Live to tell your story another day. Am I encouraging you to be on the run? No, I'm encouraging you to save your life. The life of your children. Don't want your mom, your dad, your siblings to feel like we felt. It's a bad feeling when you can't sleep at night because you're afraid this is going to be the night that you get that call. Run for your life. Make a phone call. Get some documentation, honey. Some documentation. Find someone that you trust. They're not going to look at you any old kind of way. If they do, they were not the trustworthy person you thought they were. Save your life. Save your life. Know that others really do care. And I know in the moment when that person is telling you all kinds of things, you believe them. Don't. You're better than that. You are better than that. Well, I know that this was really a very heavy start to Seasons Happen. But there are things that are going on out there right now. I will stand up. I will tell my story. Maybe I can get my daughter to actually tell hers. I don't know. But even if she chooses to never share it, I'm telling you from a mom's point of view, your mother spends nights crying, praying, walking the floor. We don't want that for you. You deserve so much better. So whatever it is that you need to do to get some help, go. Go. It does affect more than just you. You may think you can handle it. You may say, I don't have any place to go. You may say, without him, how am I supposed to live? Honey, trust me, that is not living. That is not living. Do what you need to do to save your life. Ultimately, the life of your children. Well, I can't ask you if you enjoyed this video to give it a thumbs up, but what I can tell you is, if you understand where I'm coming from, give this a thumbs up. If you do not understand where I'm coming from because you haven't had to live it, give it a thumbs up. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, give it a thumbs up. Share it with them. Leave a comment below. I'm trying to just not make this a super drawn out video. I'm just basically trying to touch the surface here because I don't want it to be so long that you don't get through to the end. I'm just saying to you, get help. Regardless of the season that you are in, you will always be a seasoned beauty. Until next time.